Hey there, good morning guys. Today we're going to work on a diamond flip-flop fold card. Try to say that really fast. I have our pieces pre-cut. This is really easy. It might look difficult, but it really isn't. So, start with our pieces that you need to cut. First, I've used Coastal Cabana. You can use any color you like. It's 4 1/4 by 11. That's our first piece. And our second piece is a piece of basic white cut at 4 by 5 1/4. Our next piece is another piece of basic white cut at 4 by 3. We have a piece of this gorgeous DSP with the ice cream on it. Gorgeous, gorgeous DSP. Anyway, we have a piece of that, and we have it cut at 3 3/4 by 2 3/4. And then we have another piece of Coastal Cabana cut at 3 by 3, so perfect square. We have another piece of white cut at 2 3/4 by 2 3/4, which I've already embossed using the Painted Texture 3D embossing folder from Stampin' Up. If you don't have an embossing folder, or you don't have a big shot, you can just use the plain scrap of paper, basic white cut at 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. And we have just a scrap of white for our greeting. Now the other things we're going to need are also a scrap of this back side of it, one of the DSPs, which is a perfect little ice cream cone cut. And we're going to use this ice cream builder punch to make that. And we're going to use another piece of this gorgeous paper here, just absolutely beautiful, with the ice cream builder punch to cut out the scoop of ice cream. So this is all going to go really easily. Let's just get started. Okay, so using our 4 1/4 by 11 sheet of Coastal Cabana, we're going to do a couple of score marks. So let me get my board out here. So we're going to score this first at 2 1/8. So at 2 1/8, we're going to score. Make sure we're using the scoring blade. And then we're going to score again at the 5 1/2 mark. Here we go. Now, the next thing we're going to do using a little bit of measuring, so I'm going to get my pencil, probably some glasses. It's going to help me see better. Okay, so we're going to take the paper on the long side. We're going to put it back in here, or measure with your ruler. We're going to put it at the 2 1/8 mark. And then we're just going to put a light pencil mark here, and a light pencil mark down at the bottom in the same spot, right where the track runs here. Okay, and then we're going to turn it to the side. This side has the score on it. We're going to turn it to the side that doesn't have the score. And we're going to measure again to the 2 1/8 and put a tiny pencil mark. And another one down on this end, just there. Okay, so hopefully you can see my pencil marks here. Got one here, the 2 1/8, 2 1/8, and 2 1/8 across the top. And we have one on the other end at the 2 1/8. Okay, so we've got this out. We're going to take this 4 by 5 1/4 piece of basic white. And we're going to put it in here and do a little measuring too. Now this one's done at 2. So right here at the 2, you're going to put a mark right there. And you don't need to do it on this end because we're only cutting one. Now you're going to turn it sideways like this, go to the 2 again, another pencil mark right there, pencil mark right here. There we go. See? All marked at the 2-inch position on the white. Insert. Okay, so we're not going to put that trimmer away yet because we're going to do some fancy cutting. So, hopefully you can see this. You're going to line up this little pencil mark in your cutting track here. Sometimes easier said than done. It really isn't that hard, but okay, so you're just going to line those up like that. Cut. You're going to turn them and line up the other side with your top point again, right in the cutting track. Cut. Here's our insert piece. Now we're going to go to our card base piece, and we're going to take it, do somewhat like this. Again, same thing, line up these marks from your top center over to your side here, cut. Again, the same thing with this one. Let's get them lined up here properly. Hopefully you can see this. I'm not really sure. Hope you can. Okay, I've got those lined up pretty good, and we're going to cut there. Same thing on this end. So where our top mark was, right there, and our score line. So you're just, our score line where we had scored this, you're just going to line up the end of that in the track with the center point that we marked with the pencil. This is really easy, so I hope everybody is understanding what I mean. And again, we're just going to line up the pencil mark right with the score line mark. And cut. And there we go. There's our fun little card base. All our cutting's done. Now, just going to erase these pencil marks. Or you could just turn your cardstock over, but you might see it on the other side. So I just erased them with a nice white Bic eraser, actually. Okay, all set. Now I'm going to take my bone folder, put my pencil away, and our score line here that we made in the center, just going to crease that up nicely. And now our other score line here, we're going to fold it back this way. Same thing, give it a nice crease with the bone folder. There. We're getting there. We're getting there. All right, the white piece that we cut like that is going to be the insert of the card. I'm just not going to work on it yet. Okay, so then next we are going to take our piece of white that was cut at 4 by 3. We're going to take that, and we're going to take our piece of DSP that we cut at 3 3/4 by 2 3/4. And we're going to get some tape out here. You can use glue, tape, whatever you have to adhere this down. Too much, I guess. And we're just going to center it nicely here on this piece of white cardstock. Here, give it a nice, secure it up there. We're going to turn it over. Put some adhesive on the back of that. Again, you can use glue or adhesive. Now, you're going to take that, center it here on the front of our card base. And straight is usually the way we're going for. Mine's a little crooked, but hey, it's going to be so cute. Ice cream is so adorable. No one will ever notice it's crooked. All right, next piece. We're going to take our 3 by 3 piece of Postal Cabana cardstock. And our 2 3/4 by 2 3/4 square of the embossed, or again, if you don't have a big shot to emboss with, just the plain white piece will be fine. Now we're going to adhere this, and because of the texture on the back of this, we're going to use a fair amount of glue to make sure it stays down. Should be good. And you're going to center that on this square Coastal Cabana. Perfect. Now we're going to come over here, put glue on this flap, only on this inside flap. Just careful so that you don't get it anywhere else on your card. There. Now you're going to take your square, line it up here with your other square. There. Press down. Press too hard on that embossing. Emboss it from this side. Make sure it's nice and stuck down. There. Not so hard, is it? Okay, now I think we're ready to work on the rest of our card. So, got my stamp set here. We're going to use the Sweet Ice Cream stamp set by Stampin' Up. And on the inside, I think we're going to make this into a birthday card. So on the inside, I think we're just going to put Treat Yourself. I think we'll stamp on the inside. Now, let me just find it. There we go. And I like to lay my photopolymer stamps down here like this. Gives them a chance to take on their own natural shape. And hope that I get it straight. Looks pretty good. Now, today we are using Coastal Cabana ink. We're going to get the insert of this card. Stamp this up. There, nice and inked up. And right here, I hope you can see this. I have no idea where the camera view is today. We just stamp Treat Yourself. Clean that off. My chamois. There we go. And okay, so on our inside, we're also going to be using a few other pieces. I'll set that aside for a minute, even though an opening pad's usually a recipe for disaster. I've got this cinnamon cider that I've picked, and just going to use the ice cream cone. I'm going to stamp that up, and I'm actually just going to get my scrap paper here that I use for all kinds of messy stuff. Stamp it off once. Bring it over here, and I think I like that on a bit of an angle. Stamp. Clean that one off. Now we're looking for this nice ice cream scoop. There, we have the ice cream scoop. I actually skipped a step, so we'll go backwards. But anyway, and we're going to stamp it in the Coastal Cabana. And we're going to stamp that off as well. Ooh, hope I can get that in there. There we go. Got that on there. Clean that off. Inside that stamp set is this nice little, sort of like a waffle pattern on this stamp. It gives you your nice little effect on your cone. So I'm going to stamp that in the cinnamon cider. And stamp it right there on the cone. Clean that off. Now we also have these little sprinkles out of the stamp set. And I'm going to stamp those in Coastal Cabana without stamping off. I'm just going to stamp them right here on this ice cream cone. Just make sure they fit in onto your ice cream cone. Gives it a little bit of depth and texture. How cute is that? Turn that off and put it back. Okay, so there's the inside of our card already. Now we have the stamp out. We might as well stamp our greeting. Now, we want our greeting to fit on the front of the card base. And the greeting in this set, the happy birthday one, is quite long. So it would fit on here, but it would be then the full of that. So I'm just going to switch it up and use this Peaceful Moments. I'm going to use the happy birthday op-ed because it's a little smaller. And then that way we can get it to fit on our... Nope, not straight. How about I line this up right? Hopefully that's fairly straight. Here's our greeting. Get rid of that scrap paper. Okay. You make that up. Hopefully it's going to stamp on here pretty nicely. We're just going to trim this after, so I'm going to come down to the bottom as close as I can. And ta-da, our happy birthday. I'm going to put that stamp back in the set before I lose it. Okay, there's our greeting stamped. We're still going to trim that down a bit, but I'm going to get rid of this ink before I end up with a hand in it. All right, now, fun part, we're going to punch with our Ice Cream Builder Punch, another wonderful Stampin' Up! Product. I'm just going to use this piece of DSP that they have that already looks like a really terrific ice cream cone pattern. Stamp that out. Then we're going to move on to this paper. I want a particular one. So I want this nice, where should I punch from? I might actually have to get my scissors out. Cut an appropriate piece. Let's see how this one looks. Turn my punch over and, oh yeah, that's what I'm looking for right there. There. And just roll down with the punch. Put that there, put our scissors away. Now, so we've got our cone and our little scoop. Oh, okay. So I'm just going to use some liquid glue here for the cone. Just put some on there, a little bit. You don't need a lot. Remember, if you can see it, you have enough. And I'm going to line this up here. You can put yours on the front of your card any way you like. Just going to line that up there like that. Wait for that to fasten. Pull out my dimensionals. I'm going to take my little scoop of ice cream. Just put a couple of dimensionals on the back of it. 3 should be plenty. Pick the back off of those. Now, we're going to put this right on there like that. Isn't that cute? So cute. Love it. All right. Let's put the inside of our card here before we forget that. So we're just going to run some glue tape or glue, whichever you have to use. Just so we can fasten in the inside of our card. And there we go. There's the inside of our card. Doesn't that look cute? Oh, there's another part out of the stamp I forgot. We'll do that in a minute. get this greeting taken care of. Now I'm just going to use my trimmer because I can't cut straight for the life of me, but you could just cut with your scissors if you wanted to. I just want to trim this greeting down. And I'm going to leave maybe a bit that much. There. Got that trimmed in a little bit. I'm going to take these little scissors. I still think I've got it too long. Okay, I've trimmed it down to about this size. Now I'm just going to come up here, cut what I think is in the middle and probably isn't. I'm going to go like this, right from this corner over to that point. From this corner over to that point. And it gives us a nice little banner effect. Okay, now I think I'm just going to glue that down. Again, easy with the glue there. There we go. Should be plenty. Now I'm just going to kind of stick that in there like that. I hope it's straight. One of the great things about liquid glue is you get a few minutes to readjust it. Okay, there. Cap of the glue. I'm just going to pull that stamp set back out for a second because I have a little piece I wanted to do here. Stamp set, our Coastal Cabana again. I should have done this while I was stamping to begin with. There's a little tiny, I guess it's like a little splash of ice cream. Just want to use it inside here. So stamp it out in Coastal Cabana. Just want to stamp it there, there, and maybe once over here. You can stamp it wherever you like. Kind of didn't quite work out, but I still think that looks great. Lose the tiny little piece. Okay. Let's get that back in there before I lose it. Okay, now we're finished with the Coastal Cabana ink. Now, isn't this adorable? Not finished yet, though. I'm sure it needs a bit of bling. So, just give me a second or two. Find something to draw. What do I got here? I've got these adorable looking, they're almost the same color. They didn't come from Stampin' Up, but they're really cute. Just can't resist them. They're going to look great on this card. So, I'm just going to use, cut one of those. Make sure the glue's all in behind it. And I think I'll stick one over here. Because every card has to have bling. Again, the second one. I have a take your pick tool that makes this really easy, so as you can see, though, I'm not using it at this moment. Okay, and I'm going to stick this one right there on our greeting. Now, I have these clear ones, opal rounds from Stampin' Up. I love them. They're just so clear. They're sort of like a little opal stone. And I'm going to put that right here on our ice cream cone. Yeah. We've added some bling. What do you think? It's really cute, isn't it? And this could be used with so many different stamp sets. I made it and automatically was thinking strawberries, just so many of the Stampin' Up stamp sets, or maybe what kind of stamps you have at home could be used on it. I'm sure you can think of many ideas. If you do, please let me know on my blog, on the blog post where this will be posted. If you have cards or anything that you want to show me, sure, just contact me and we'll get them posted. I'd love to see what you come up with for ideas. Anyway, that's it for today. Hope everybody enjoyed it. Have a great Saturday.